Hello everyone, this is Rabab Alma, licensed management family therapist and international life coach. I will be speaking today about Ramadan, the month of fasting for Muslims. I will be speaking not actually technically religious information, but more like tips and general info for everyone that would like to know more about it in terms of you are a teacher, student, a therapist, a co-worker. I will not be able to cover everything, but I'm happy to respond to your questions if you have questions. While you are joining, I'm gonna go ahead and share my life with my group and my other page. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to list it in the comment section below. Let me just see here. I need to put it on my other pages. So again, the topic today is about Ramadan. Tips for students, therapists, teachers. You know, a bit about Ramadan. What does it mean? So I will start, and I'm going to talk about Ramadan. And since I am a Muslim myself, I will start with peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you, everyone. And I chose this topic because Ramadan is for Muslims. It's going to start. It's a month of fasting, and it's going to Romana wa alaikum assalam. Thank you for joining. So Ramadan is the month of fasting for Muslims, and it's the 9th month of this on the Islamic calendar. The Islamic calendar follows the lunar. It's a lunar year for Muslims, and Muslims usually fast from dawn to sunset. So now it's gonna be Muslims usually follow it either based on the calendar. Hey Romana, thank you for joining. And so some of them, Shakir Rahman, alaikum assalam, thank you for joining. So Muslims usually fast according either the calendar. So according to the calendar, it's gonna start. You're very welcome, Romana. Thank you. This Monday, and usually it's 29 or 30 days. So it's gonna start on Monday, and it's gonna end on Monday, May 5th, and it's gonna end on June 3rd, according to the calendar. But some Muslims don't follow the calendar. They follow the sighting of the moon. So some people will tell you Ramadan maybe starting on Sunday or Monday. So that's why you see some Muslims a start date of Ramadan differ between among Muslims, and that's acceptable. So according to the calendar, it's gonna start, and I think in Philadelphia here, they observe the occasion after Ramadan, which is the celebration. We call it Eid al-Fitr, or the breaking fast Eid, which is it's gonna fall this year on June 4th. So Ramadan, because it follows the lunar calendar, it actually every year is gonna be like 9 to 10 days behind. So from now until, like I would say, 25 years from now, it's gonna always fall within the school year. It was always for the past, whatever, I think more than 10, 15 years, it was in the summer. Now it's gonna start to fall in the school year. And we need to provide some information for people about Ramadan. What does it mean for you as a teacher, as a parent, as a student, as a therapist, a client? So Ramadan is the name of the fasting month for Muslims. And Mustafa Sharif is watching. Thank you for watching. And usually Muslims fast from dawn to sunset. So dawn, now it's around 4:40. It's gonna be like 4:30ish or something. And it's usually close to 8 o'clock. Before or after, it depends on the sunset. So it's a long day. Usually Muslims fast when they hit puberty. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, so it's important and it's obligatory for Muslims to fast. However, some people are excused. So if you are sick, if a woman is nursing, is pregnant, there is a health risk, Some people with some health issues, they don't fast. So you actually make it up, or you pay charity for the poor if you can't fast. The purpose of fasting is to get close to God, and it's the English word of the word Allah, and the God, which is the God we worship. As Muslims are, I think, and Jews and Christian, they worship God, but for Muslims, it's the Arabic name of God is Allah. So when boys and girls reach puberty, they are obligated to fast. However, for girls, if they have their menstrual cycle, they don't fast, and some people don't know that. So I had a funny incident when I was working in pharma years back. It was Ramadan, and I thought like people, I mean, it's okay. There are no Muslims around me, so they don't know. So I was eating, and my colleague, who was non-Muslim, came to me. He said, "You were cheating. You were not supposed to eat." So I explained to him why, and it was a somewhat embarrassing moment, but I had to tell him why I'm not fasting. That's why we do not ask Muslim women if they are eating or drinking, why you're eating or drinking, because it's known why. For Muslims at least, but now I'm explaining why. If you see someone who's a Muslim not fasting in Ramadan, if it's a woman, she might have her menstrual cycle. If it's a man, maybe he's sick or maybe he is traveling. So if you travel also, you are excused from fasting, and you can make it up. These nuances some people don't know about. Actually, he told me, I said, I'm gonna make it up, and he said, oh, and I said, in the winter. He said, oh, but in the winter the day is shorter, so you're actually cheating again. So it was a nice funny conversation, but I mean, it's important to know these facts. So it's a long day, and we need to be close to our students, especially the young ones, about how they feel about it, about fasting long days, especially if they have exams, if they have projects, if they have some activities, sports. So when we fast from dawn to sunset, so during the night, some people go and pray in the mosque, some people don't. But it's important for people to hydrate between sunset and dawn, so they can sustain themselves for the next day. Also, so people need to eat their breakfast, which is before dawn, to sustain themselves, and it's recommended actually for people who fast to eat before dawn, and these two meals, the breakfast, breaking the fast, and the breakfast before dawn. In the summer, I mean, nowadays, the fasting day is long. So you talk about from 4:30 to 8, you talk about like 14, 15 hours. That's a long day, a long time. No more than that. It's actually 16 hours. So that's a long day for people, or for children to fast. And some people don't want to show they are fasting because they want to fit in, or some children feel that they don't want to explain what is it. So I think it's important for us to keep in mind how these children are feeling, and how can we really manage that and help them throughout this time. So for children, we call the breakfast that is before dawn is called suhoor, and it's important not to skip that, because that will sustain you, and you need to drink water before sunset and dawn during the night to make up for fasting. So the fasting, and when people fast, or Muslims fast, they don't drink water or anything, they don't eat, and they don't do any kind of intimacy, any type of intimacy during the fasting. So, and the reason or the purpose of the fast is a spiritual time for people to get closer to God and be more spiritual, away from the materialistic things. Also, it's encouraged to people to give a lot of charity. So people give a lot of charity and invite people for interfaith dinners. You know, it's kind of connection with each other and with other faiths in the area. So it's important to recognize it's a very good time for people to interact and to have these joyous meals together. And usually sometimes people invite each other at home or in the mosques, and a lot of organizations in the area actually send invitations out to other faiths, like the churches or synagogues or mosques or other faiths to share this breaking the fast and eat and talk about the religion, and to bridge, to extend, and to build bridges. So for students, they don't want to skip the breakfast. They want to eat, don't overeat when they break their fast, and they want to avoid eating fried food or salty or high sugar food, because this will impact their activities or their energy the following day. I think it's important for a client or a therapist to talk about it. So as a Muslim therapist, and the breaking the fast is around 8 o'clock. So I will not see clients in Ramadan after 6 o'clock because I'm tired and I'm fasting and I'm preparing to break my fast. So it's important for a therapist and a client to share that conversation about what's going to happen during this month. Some people also, if they're fasting, they don't want to see clients early in the day, like the 8 and the 9 o'clock can be difficult for some people. So some people might prefer to see clients in the middle of the day, like between 11 until 4, 5, and that's it. So share, if you're a client who fasts or a therapist who fasts, you want to share that with your therapist or client about what is the system, what's their system around this time. Also, so for instance, when we talk about teachers, so if you have Muslim students, I prepared a couple of tips here to keep in mind. First one, don't force students to be out. So don't force students who is fasting this month. Some people, although we are obligated to fast, but some people choose not to. So we don't want to embarrass these other students who choose not to fast, because it is their choice. So if someone wants to fast and wants to share that, I think maybe the parent can reach out to the teacher and tell them that my children are fasting from this time to this time, and maybe the student can, the parent can suggest, or the teacher can invite the parent to talk about Ramadan in the classroom and talk about what they do, what we don't do, and what is the process, what does it mean, and why people fast. Also, maybe you want to avoid food-centric class events. So if there are sometimes, like at the end of the year, a lot of classes will do this, like food gatherings and events and parties. And if someone is fasting, they might not attend. So you want to be mindful of that as a teacher. So you want to also think carefully about, let's all fast in solidarity with the Muslims in the classroom. So we mainly fast, the fasting is to be spiritual and closer to God. It's not about suffering. So it's a very spiritual act. So just to ask people to fast with others, they might have a different opinion about the fasting act. So you want to be careful around inviting people to fast in solidarity. If they want to do that on their own, of course, they're welcome. But if they, to suggest that, you want to be maybe careful around that. Also, you want to be careful about physical activities. If children are fasting, you don't want to exert a lot of physical activity or encourage them to do physical activities, because that they might get dehydrated, especially in the second half of the day. Also, while fasting, some people might not feel hungry, but maybe thirsty or sleepy or cold. So they are different, especially towards the end of the day. So you want to be mindful of that. Also, so people fasting also pray. And the prayers, during the time of fasting between dawn to sunset, there are 2 prayers that fall in between. Actually, Muslims pray, practicing Muslims pray 5 times a day if they choose to do that. So the dawn prayer, which is, they can do it at home, but during the day there are the noon one which is now it falls around 1:10, and there is the other prayer which is around 5 o'clock or a little bit before or after, depends on the how the month progresses. So if they want to pray, you want to provide that space for children to or students to pray. I remember my daughter, when she was in school, she actually used to ask the counselors, and they were very helpful in finding her a spot. And everyone knows that she will go to pray, and she will ask them, I'm going to go to pray. It takes her like less than 10 minutes. And that's so you want to make people feel comfortable to ask about that if they want to pray. You might want to create an alternative space during lunch. So students are going to lunch to eat. Maybe you want to invite the students who are fasting to go maybe to the library or to do something else. Tahira is watching. Thank you for watching. You might want to find different activities for students who are fasting during the day. You want to have that conversation with the students and with the parents to see what is the best course of action to accommodate that, because sometimes it's tough for students if they are fasting and everyone else is eating around them at lunchtime. So you want to keep an eye on for students who may need additional support. So if they are fasting, if they have medical conditions, they might not need to fast every day, or if there's some things that you want to watch, you want to see their emotions. If someone is being bullied around that, why you're not eating, what's happening, why you're tired. Oh no, so you want to keep an eye on the interaction with people among the students and how they feel about fasting, and how comfortable they are about what they are doing among other students. You might want to teach your class about Ramadan tradition and Islam, and as I said, you might invite one of the parents that they're open to talk about it, and give nice presentation and explain and have people interact and ask questions. So that would be make the students in the classroom more comfortable and included. Maybe you want to decorate this classroom. Every year we decorate our house with some decorations, and my daughter loves lights and stuff, so I do that, or she does that actually. So you might want to consider that. So see if that's something you would like to do. For parents, you might want to prepare a presentation for the classroom about Ramadan. What does it mean? What we do? Why we fast? What is it all about? So you might want to be precise. You might want to be clear, friendly, open for questions, because people will ask questions. And so you want to create that environment of friendliness with students and teachers, so people as students feel included and people know what's going on for a month. It's a very important month and spiritual month for Muslims. It's a month of worship. It's a month of getting closer to God and giving charity, being nice to each other. We are supposed to refrain from saying hurtful stuff or gossiping or any kind of act that it's not friendly to each other. And I'm not talking about just Muslims, about the whole community. So people are encouraged to be nice and kind and give a nice picture of how someone who's fasting, a Muslim, should behave or can behave in front of or interact with other people. And it's a kind of cleansing for the person. It's like a 30 days. We know that to build a habit, it takes like 30 days to build it. So if you want to, some people like to incorporate like losing weight, or incorporate someone who's smoking, who wants to, because also you're not supposed to smoke. So maybe this will help him to form a habit of not smoking within Ramadan. So whatever habit you want to form and incorporate, you can do that, because you have 30 days to practice. So people have been doing that since Islam came. It's a very important month. It's the month of revelation of the Holy Quran for the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Tahira said, good consciousness. Yes, good God conscious. You need to be aware of Muslims. Someone who's fasting need to be aware of their actions, conscious, thinking about spirituality. It's a cleansing time, not only just for body, it's for the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's an important month. Muslims actually wait for that. It's a month that people are encouraged to be so spiritual. Some Muslims choose to pray after, so after they break their fast around 8 o'clock, 8:30, it depends on the day. You know, this month is gonna start on Monday or Sunday if you are sighting, following the moon sighting. It's gonna, now it's before Maghrib just came in, which is the breaking the fast. It came on 7:53, so it's gonna progresses. I think by the end of the month it's gonna be around 8:30. So people break their fast, pray the fourth prayer, and then after that there's a fifth prayer. And some people do voluntarily like prayer after, which is called Tarawih prayer. So people go for an hour or so to the mosque to pray. So it's not obligatory, but it's kind of more like being more spiritual and being together and feeling that togetherness with other people who are fasting and praying. So sometimes by the end of the month, people get tired, not just because they are not eating or drinking or taking care of that, it's sometimes because of lack of sleep. So that's also something that we need to be aware of. But it's a time that it's a celebratory time for Muslims. It's an important time. And it's we Muslims believe that when you're fasting, the prayers are accepted, and it's like a direct connection with God. So I wanted to give this short episode about Ramadan, because I think it's important for people to get the chance to ask questions and see if they want to. You know, I have here. I'm looking at the comment section if anyone has any questions. If you have questions later on, I will be happy to answer. It's important for Muslims to share their faith with others. That's why we invite people to break a fast with us. And you know, a lot of Muslim organizations in the area invite people from synagogues and temples and churches to share and to break bread. It's a very nice time to network, actually. It's a very fun time. It's like I have my calendar is full of invitations throughout the tri-state areas. I'm invited to talk about Ramadan in our Sinus College on the 10th. So I'm going to be there. I will be honored to talk to my colleagues and to my friends about that there. And I will be going to different worship places to share food and to network and to share love and connection with my brothers and sisters in Islam and in other faiths. So it's a very important time. Like, it's like so busy. Like, suddenly you are surrounded with so many people from different faiths. Like you see the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, the Sikh, people from different religions. They come together and they're gonna share food and talks, and it's a very nice time for people. Let's see here if I have any questions. I don't have questions. People have comments. People like the life. I'm glad. I think it's important for people who fast, for Muslims, to reach out and to talk about it and to invite people to ask questions. So if you have questions to me, whether from a client perspective, from a therapist perspective, from a teacher or a parent or a student, or maybe I forgot, maybe I missed someone else, so you are more than welcome to contact me and ask questions about it. You will see a lot of nowadays there are a lot of advertisement for Ramadan products. Muslims break their fast with dates and then eat a little light food and then go and pray and then come back and continue eating. So it's a very spiritual time, and the priority is for spirituality. So praying, because some people like save all their prayers, what they want from this life, from God, for this time and pray. And ask God for everything they want. It's like some people have a schedule for the rest of the year. It's an important year. It's an important time. Some people, if they want to give charity, they save it for this month and give charity in this month because the reward is multiplied. So there are all of this aspect around it. It's not just about abstaining from eating, drinking, smoking, intimacy. It's way more than that. It's a cleansing. It's it's about self-awareness. It's about discipline. It's God consciousness. It's about um, having this will that I can do it. You know, I can do it. I can. And some people will tell me, I don't know how you do it. Well, I mean, a lot of people do it, and if we, I mean, it's all about training yourself. So it's children can do it, adult, teens, anyone can do it. And if you have any question, please feel free to contact me. I will be happy to answer about Ramadan or other questions. If you like this video, if I missed something, let me know. As usual, I do lives on Tuesdays. So I do it around this time, but this time is like the breaking the fast. Next time it's going to be the second day of Ramadan. So I might do it before that. I might choose a time either after, later than 9 o'clock, or before 6 o'clock. I will decide and see how I feel about it. I just want to give you a heads up that the time is changing because of, will change during this forthcoming 4 weeks because of, I will be fasting myself. So if you like this video, please hit like, share it. I will post it also on YouTube, so you can subscribe there. If I missed any topic around fasting, let me know. If you need more tips or more guidance around it, I will be happy to answer questions. If I don't know it, I will ask and I will get you the answer. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a wonderful night. Talk to you later.